probably not a review because I probably haven't done a very formal job of explaining it in class, but this is sort of a view of what's going on under the covers with an Android application. So here we have the Android operating system, and it manages all these things that I guess when you think of a Windows application like the one I showed you just a minute ago, you know, we usually call those programs. Well, in the Android world, that's called an activity. And one Android phone could have multiple of these activities going on at one time. Same is true for like an iPhone. iPhones, they basically just call them programs or apps, I guess, obviously. Um, and these are all going on at the same time. In the Android world, these two apps can talk to each other, which is sort of unique. It's kind of quite a bit harder to do on the iPhone, but it's sort of built into Android that these activities could sort of communicate. An activity can control the screen, and when the activity is sort of the main thing going on, it usually has, well, it has one or many views that it's spitting to the screen. And let's see, what did I write here? Android starts the activity. Okay, yeah, so the Android, and this should, like I said, all be review, not necessarily review, but we've looked at this stuff along the way of doing what we've done so far. The Android starts up the activity by creating a thread, and that thread's invisible to you, as we've talked about, that calls the onCreate method. So let's go back to, or let's go to Android or to Eclipse for the first time. And you guys are fairly familiar with the files that we've been working with, and you can basically call them classes. Hopefully by now you know that they are classes. The root program here is called Hello Android in my case. I know everybody named their stuff differently. That may have been a mistake because that probably makes things a little more confusing. But if you look at the Hello Android class, it extends activity. And so that means that once I declare as a programmer that it extends an activity, that lets the Android operating system know that this is going to be a program that it can start up. And when, like through the emulator, if we go back here and we go, press the home button, well, maybe, and we click the menu deal, hopefully, oh, darn it, that's the deal. There's my Hello Android. Oh, and the many other times that I've run it, I guess. I should delete those. Great. Wonder which one is the correct one. That's not the current lesson, but, every time I start one of these, it knows that it's got an activity, and it needs to call this onCreate method. And all you guys already in your program have this. And there's sort of a lot going on here that I don't really want to go into yet. Important, but not ground that we want to cover right now. I've got this one variable called main game view. And here, I'm declaring it inside this class, and by doing it outside of any of these things that we know now are methods, I'm basically saying that this variable belongs everywhere. I mean, belongs to the entire class. I can use it in any of my methods. But in the onCreate method, I basically take the name and create a new one of it. And that's a long story that I don't necessarily want to get too much into the details of now. It should somewhat be a review from the previous lessons. And then I set the view of the activity to this main game view. So like I said, because I named this an activity, Android knows that this method exists in here, and when I start it up, it looks for this method and it calls it. And so when it does call this this method, it basically creates this game view and then tells the activity itself that its view is going to be the main game view. And so in the same way, and this gets a little confusing because it's sort of you know, a goat on a boat on a on the ocean or something like that, in the sense that like in the same way that the Android operating system knows that this is an activity, or that because this is an activity it has this method, since the activity, or this activity, knows that this guy is a view, when I create this view and set it to the content, it knows that since it's a view, and let's go there, that it's going to have this, let me go down and find it. There's a lot of stuff in here, but it knows because it's a view, oh, and I should show you that, up at the top here, extend surface view, which is a kind of view. There are different kinds of views, but and don't worry about this right now, but this is a view, and since it knows that it's a view, it knows that there is a doDraw method. And so here I call doDraw, and I'm not going to explain the details of what I'm drawing here. This is a background that I'm doing, and I probably shouldn't have called it alien body because that makes it a little confusing. But here in this area I'm drawing the background. The part that actually draws the space creature is when I'm drawing here, I actually call the draw method on space creature, and so we can go into space creature and actually see that there is a draw method, and again there's some drawing going on here, and you guys have seen this to some degree. There's an aspect to it that you haven't seen before, or I haven't explained to you before, but yeah, so that's what's basically happening. And I guess I could review one more time. Hello Android, let's go back to the picture. The Android operating system creates my hello Android activity and calls its onCreate method. And once it calls the onCreate method, the activity creates my main game view. And actually, there's probably a better description of this right here. Yeah. Hello Android creates the main game view, and the main game view creates two things. One is this main game thread, and that's where we're going to be spending the next couple minutes. And the other one is the space creature himself that he calls the draw method on when he gets drawn. When he gets told to draw himself, he tells the space creature to draw itself on top of him. That's actually probably the best way that I can think to explain it. So now for sort of the what all of this explanation has been building to. The very first time the application starts up, like I said, hello Android calls onCreate, and onCreate calls the doDraw method, which tells the space creature to draw. So basically we've drawn the creature to the screen one time, and that's what's going on actually in that wrong example I picked. We drew it to the screen one time right here, and it's not doing anything else. The tricky part is that what we actually want to do is make it move, and to make it move we need to create a thread. And actually this is probably a good place to take a break, and then I will take a break, maybe even go through all this again if it didn't make a lot of sense, and then I will show you how we create a thread and start doing things and drawing things to the screen over and over again. Okay, see ya.